I am Ismail, son of Abi Salam of the family Zaydan. Our dynasty, the Idrisids, has a fierce history of independence, rising up against the Umayyads and the Abbasids in turn. Once we ruled the Maghreb, but that was long ago. We have fallen far since then. When I was a boy, I was sent to Al-Andalus as a hostage to the Umayyads. There I made friends, developed rivalries, and learned much in the vast libraries of Cortuba. After my father's passing, my brothers and I swore to each other not to fall to the same infighting that had caused us to lose so much in the past. I hope to lead our family to a new golden age, to build a place where science, mathematics, and philosophy flourishes, like in the great cities of Baghdad or Granada. I will create a legacy that will live far beyond me. Hello Wanderers, welcome back to a brand new Crusader Kings 3 roleplay series. And this one is going to be a little bit different than the others because we are playing a scholarship focused character. Now, we have not done that before, and I'm not really sure what that will mean for our playstyle for this character, but I do suspect that we may end up playing a little bit more of a tall game than a wide game. Now, and that's not to say that we won't be bringing in some lands over the course of our character's lifetime, but we won't just be trying to just expand and paint the map with our color. We're going to be playing it a little bit differently here. We painted the map before. We've painted the map many times. So it'll be interesting to play a little bit more of a tall game. Now let's take a look at our character here. Our character, Sheikh Ismail ibn Abi Salam of House Zaydan. Now, this is a pretty interesting character, and we're going to take a look at his traits here. So, he is gregarious. Now, this is a character who you can get along with very easily. He knows his way around the various social circles. He knows how to get in with various people of both high and low class. He's just somebody who is a bit of an extrovert and knows how to use that to his advantage. He is, however, a little bit arrogant. Now, we are part of the Idrisid dynasty. We are a cadet branch, but the Idrisids once ruled the Maghreb, and we were relatively prestigious and powerful, but the Idrisid dynasty has fallen quite far since then. You'll see that we do not hold the power that we once did, and that's unfortunate, but we do still have a little bit of that arrogance within us. And I think part of that may come from the fact that we are Saeed, which means that we do have the blood of the Prophet coursing through our veins. So I think that that is something that probably plays into a little bit of that generational arrogance that we seem to have inherited. Now, we are also brave. So when our character was young, we were a bit of an adventurer, so to speak. Now, we did serve many years in the court of Al-Andalus as a hostage, and we spent some of those years as the companion of one of the princes of Al-Andalus, and that was Prince Abad al-Majid ibn Jawar of House Umayyad. So alongside the prince here, we had many adventures, and we earned a reputation for being something of a brave man. But we're also a little bit cynical. So, we grew up, our family is Zayidi, but we grew up largely in the courts of Al-Andalus. You can see that has affected our culture. The rest of our family are Maghrebi, but we consider ourselves a little bit more Andalusian than Maghrebi, or at least we follow to the Andalusian cultural tenets a little bit closer. Now, the fact that Al-Andalus is an Ash'ari nation, but they also have many Muwaladi people in their land. So we kind of have these three different religious sects that are trying to, that played a part in our life. And I think that caused us to not really adhere to any of them in particular. Now, we are an astute intellectual, so we're really interested. We spend a lot of time in the libraries of Al-Andalus, and particularly here in Cortuba. And we use that to our advantage, and we learned a lot in that time. So we're something of a warrior scholar. You can see that we do have reasonable prowess here. But yeah, scholarship and learning is something that we have always held to. You saw that we were Saeed. We're also fairly good looking guy. That probably plays into our gregarious nature a little bit. And we're also quite quick. So, you know, a little bit smarter than those around us. You can see we're scarred. We got some scars from those adventures when we were youth. And finally, we are a little bit melancholic. And ever since we were young, we've always been prone to melancholy. So, you know, we might put on a face of an extroverted, gregarious person, but deep down, you know, we think about existential things a lot. And, you know, that's kind of led to a little bit of darkness and melancholy in our soul. So, that is our character's traits. You can see right here that we are reasonably diplomatic. We know a little bit about war. Not particularly good at stewardship. That's not something that we focused on, and we don't really care as much about money. Our intrigue level is pretty good. We spent a lot of time in that court in Al-Andalus, and there was a lot of intrigue going on there, I'm sure. And then, like we said, we have read a lot of books. So there you go. And our prowess is reasonably decent here. So that is our character. Now let's take a look at some of the other important characters around us. Now, our family, as mentioned, once ruled the Maghreb, no longer, but we do still hold some lands. Now we hold Tangiers here, but we have 4 brothers who also hold lands. So you'll see them down here. Yeah, there we go. So there's our 4 brothers, and each one of them holds lands here in Malila, Hunyan, Taza, and Waija. And we actually get along with our brothers reasonably well. We actually have friendships with 2 of them, and our relations with our other 2 brothers are actually pretty decent. Our family is relatively close. We don't fight with each other too much, and you'll see we've actually got alliances with all of our brothers as well. So, you know, we actually have pretty close ties, and the Zaydan family has, you know, had to band together to keep ourselves from the predations of some of these more powerful nations around us. So that's something to keep in mind. We do have 2 wives. Our first wife is Tazalt bint Masanisa of House of Fatimid. She has actually given us a son, our son Issa ibn Ismail Zaydan, who is obviously Saeed as well. He is hale and he is quick. So he's picked up some traits from both of his parents. But yes, our wife is patient, paranoid, compassionate. She, you know, is also a little bit of a learned woman, as much as possible here. So, you know, we get along actually reasonably well. And then we have a second wife here, Amina bint Zahir of House Dakwar. And, you know, she's a little bit callous, but forgiving and generous. So that's an interesting mixture of traits there. A gardener. She kind of keeps to herself probably a little bit. And intelligent. So we'll see if she gives us any particularly intelligent children in the future. Then we'll take a look at our relationships here really quickly. You saw Prince Abad al-Majid, who is our best friend, and he will probably play in a reasonably important role in the story going forward. We also have a few other friends here. You can see our brothers, Sheikh Sharif and Sheikh Kamaladin, and our sister Amira sent Sina bint Abi Salam here. So you can see 3 of our closest people to us are all family members here. So there's that. Then we also have a friendship with our court imam, Lub al-Dani, who we kind of knew when we were a hostage here in Al-Andalus. And he kind of made some wrong moves and made a few enemies in Al-Andalus and in Cortuba. So he had to come with us when we returned to Tangiers to avoid the fallout of some bad decisions he made there. So we've developed a little bit of a friendship, but part of his bad decisions actually put him on the opposite side of things from our best friend here, Abad Al-Majid. So our two friends are actually rivals with each other, which is kind of funny and interesting. And we'll see how that all plays into things. Imagine being Ismail here, and your two of your best friends are just like really just hate each other. I think that puts you in an interesting position. We have a few rivals ourselves, one of which is Prince Jawar ibn Jawar of House Umayyad. That's obviously the brother of our best friend. Like I said, we grew up in this court, and we have relations and ties with a lot of the people in the Umayyad family. And so that has really affected the way that we have grown up and the relationships that we have going forward. So we've got a bit of a rivalry. Who knows what caused this rivalry? Perhaps it was a woman or something of that nature. You could imagine a young, dashing young Sheikh Ismail here, or when he was in the court of Al Andalus. Perhaps they fought over a woman here with Prince Jawar. Who's to say? We don't know this. We don't know exactly how all of this story played out. Part of that is up to your imagination, and I love hearing the theories that you guys have about the characters down in the comments. That's one of my favorite things, is reading the comments where you guys go really into depth into these stories, because I'm looking at the game mechanics. I'm looking at all the different characters. I'm trying to, manage all the different things that there are within CK3 and do the role playing. So it's really helpful for me that you guys can go more in depth and really see things that I might miss in the game and see how that affects the story. And I love reading comments like that, where you guys go in depth into some of the things that happen during the episode. So keep those comments coming, because I find it really fascinating to read, and it helps me get more into the story as well. But in any case, we do have one more rival to look at, and that is Amin Nasrid, and he is another sculler here. He's within our court, and I think that we just have philosophical differences with this guy. He's just somebody who we probably get into debates with all of the time, and we just hate him. We don't think he's right about anything. We think his ideas are stupid, and frankly, we think he's probably one of the dumbest people we know. But really, he's actually pretty well learned, and he's a pretty smart guy. Some might say he's more well learned than us, but that is up for debate, and we'll see if that plays into anything at all there. The only other important character that we need to look at is an interesting one who has come to our court from very far away, and this is Anastasia Ivanov. And now she is an Orthodox Russian, has a long ways to go, and you might be wondering how she ended up in our court. Well, she actually struck up a friendship with our steward, Masiva Batuta, who was for a long time a traveling merchant, and he traveled all the way across the Mediterranean and into the Black Sea and up these various rivers here during his travels. And he met Anastasia, who was the daughter of another merchant and had kind of taken over from her father in some ways. And she was convinced, they struck up a friendship, as you can see here, and she was convinced of the riches of the lands here in Iberia and North Africa, and perhaps had a little bit of wanderlust as well. And so she actually decided to travel all the way down through the Mediterranean to Tangiers here in order to, find her fortune and see what kind of things have come for her here, or what she could make of herself here. So this very ambitious and beautiful young woman has come to our court, and I think that we might be a little bit enamored with her. So before we do anything else, I'm actually going to start a romance plot against Anastasia here. We'll see how this plays out. We'll probably just go with our gut in the moment here. So we are trying to woo her over here, and we'll see how the events play out. We should be have a fair chance of success because we are quite the catch, really. But perhaps we shall have ourselves a third wife here. We shall have to see. So those are all the important characters. You can see that we do have some characters in our court, but most of them you have already seen, and most of them are not as important as the ones we just showed. Now, I do want to say, if you want to get your own characters in these campaigns and in these stories, you can definitely do so. All you have to do is either join our Patreon or join the YouTube memberships at the counselor level. The links to those are in the description below. You get to customize your character. You can come up with their backstories. You can come up with their traits, all sorts of different things, and we will work them into the game. And, sometimes they'll play a little bit more important in role in the story than others, but either way, it's hopefully a pretty cool thing to see a character, go through this story as well. And oftentimes they'll have children and their children will have children. And as the generations pass by, your characters will have an effect on the game beyond just the one that you have created. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, because there will be more episodes in this series coming up, and you probably don't want to miss them. So you could even turn on your notifications. In any case, we should probably get time rolling here. So we shall do so. Now, what is our plan? What do we want to do kind of early on here? And I think number one is that we want to solidify our position here. And like I said, we're probably going to be playing a little bit more tall, but we're not going to be able to just hold to one single county. That would be pretty difficult. We'll be in great danger of being swallowed up. I would like to expand just a little bit here in order to get ourselves a reasonable amount of power and enough that we can protect ourselves. Now, we do have one very likely target here, and that is Emir Mubashir the Cruel. So the Emir in his family is a family that has fought against ours for a long time. Essentially, this, part of North Africa here has been split up between the Zaydan family and the Al-Kabirid family for a long time. You can see we actually have his wife currently in our prison, and that is because of a war that our father, Sheikh Abi Salab ibn Yahya Zaydan, fought against the Al-Kabarids, and he did imprison the emir's wife, and so she is still in our prison. Now, doing a war early on is, probably like goes against the playing tall, like I was saying, but like I said, we're not trying to paint the map. We're not trying to just go and expand and take everything right away. Not with this character. We'll see, how his son turns out. Maybe his son will be a little bit more ambitious. But we do want to just take enough that we can, get some money, that we can build, develop, that we can, kind of just take a little bit, slowly expand. Maybe we can get like this region here, bring our brothers beneath our banner here. I don't think we're going to go to take the entire Maghreb here, but that might be a possibility for a future character. But really, I just want to kind of take, maybe this slowly over the course of our character, but we'll see from there. But like I said, we do need to expand a little bit just to protect ourselves, make sure we have enough troops to defend ourselves and to push things when we need to. As my beloved and I walk through the Tangier's gardens, I gesture at the greenery around us. For all their beauty, there isn't a single flower which rivals your own, my lady. There is one, she says with a mischievous smile, a rare orchid from Egya Ife, which is nearly impossible to cultivate. The abandoned mosque is the only place where it thrives in these regions. Ah, so she's been learning a little bit. Interesting. She is a very intelligent woman. It's probably why that we are attracted to her. Surely I can find a merchant willing to sell me one. I will brave the runes for you. Ooh, you know what? We are brave men. Let's do that. And we find the orchid in the runes, so we give her a special gift. There we go. Of course, we are, we're only 28. We were an adventurer like in our early 20s, but we've still got that adventurous spirit in us. We are brave after all. So the romance is going reasonably well. I think, like I said, I think it's smart of us to go and try to take this land to finish off our enemies in Al Kabarid, just to secure our position here. And we have our alliances with our brothers, so I think it's time for House Zaydan to do away with Al Kabarid for good here. You know, they've been a thorn in our family side for a very long time, and we have them on the run, and I think it's time to put them down. So we will be declaring war. We're going to do a Conquer County war so we can avoid any others coming in here. We shall declare this war, and we're going to bring in some of our brothers as well. So we'll call these house members. Now, as some people have pointed out, it does cost you, I believe, costs you renown to call in your house members, but that's actually not a bad thing because it doesn't actually slow your progress towards the next levels of renown. This is a spendable resource. You don't really lose that much for spending it. Your progress doesn't go down, so you might as well use it for something. So we're going to call our house members to war here. I'm not even actually sure if this is costing us anything anyways here. So we're gonna do it. Let's bring our brothers in. I think our brothers will agree that it is time to do away with Al Kabarid, and this will probably be the main extent of our conquering for quite some time. Let's see how many troops he's got here, or how many troops he will have. 659. Yeah, so we can just move right in and hit his army right away. We are leading our army ourselves, so we probably didn't even need to bring in our brothers, frankly, but we are going to do so anyways, just to make things go a little bit faster. And frankly, our brothers probably want to get in on this because, like I said, our families have been fighting each other for decades now, and that is something that we need to finish here. So this will give us a pretty strategic position here, holding Tangiers and Sabta. That is going to be highly advantageous for us because we'll be holding the southern half of the Strait of Gibraltar, and this is still a very important trading route in this time period. So, you know, this is going to be highly useful to us and is probably going to secure us for quite some time, I suspect. So, will we be able to get I think we'll be able to get a duchy title out of this potentially as well. We might be able to usurp this once we save up enough money. So actually, we probably won't be able to usurp it because it's going to get destroyed, I imagine, because this guy won't be holding any titles left. So, you know, could be useful. Are we getting any war score from holding his wife prisoner? We are not. I'm tempted to ransom her back then, just for the money. Oh, and our wife is pregnant once again. Nice. I'm tempted to ransom her back. We'll get the money out of him, and we will use that to potentially form the duchy later on. So there we go. Look at this. The alliance of the brothers Zaydan coming together here to finish off their old enemies. And once we do, we'll be able to play things pretty interestingly. I'd like to develop Tangiers specifically. I think we're already, yeah, we do have a castle construction being made, so we're going to fill out all of our various holdings in the county. We'll probably keep hold of that castle ourselves if we can. We'll see. But I would like to develop Tangiers. It's not the best province, but it's not a terrible one. And we can probably use it to secure ourselves a pretty prestigious position here for a little while. Now, oh, it looks like our brothers are going to fight the enemy here. Good job, brothers. Take them down. We'll hold the siege of the enemy lands while our brothers go and do battle there. We can take a look at the details of that battle as well. While this goes on, was there any interesting events? Tahir slew this young man, Abu al-Qasim. Oh yeah, he killed somebody from House al-Kabarid. Yeah, very good. Oh, he killed the brother. Yeah, he killed the brother of the emir here, and another al-Kabarid here, slain by, unfortunately, by our rival. So there we go, and that looks like the armies of Sabta essentially defeated here. Yeah, he's got no troops. He's out of money, and this was a relatively easy war. It's probably going to be done with in quite shortly here. So we do have a reasonable army. We've got a fair amount of retinues that are pretty decently well off. So it's expensive. So getting this extra county is going to be pretty useful. Can we get any ransoms here? Can we ransom for a hook? Probably not going to be that useful. Dynasty head changed. Interesting. Ah, you are the new head of the Idrisid dynasty here. Tlemcen. Yeah, so Tlemcen is kind of the one of the last bastions of the Idrisids here. So you can see our family essentially ruled pretty much this entire region here. So the Maghreb up until Tlemcen here. This entire place was ruled by the Idrisids at one point, but no longer. We have really fallen far since then. So here we can enforce our demands upon our enemy there, and that looks a little better. I think this is a little bit better of a region to hold here. And the art of plunder. I understand you are interested in deepening your grasp on warfare. Tahir looks at me intently as he approaches me. I might be able to help you see the battlefield in new ways. He is well known for his mastery of the chevauché. If there was anyone who could help me understand, it would be him. We could learn the Reaver skill, or I'll leave it to my generals. I don't know if Reaver's going to be super useful. I don't even think we can raid anyways. Yeah, we can't raid anyways, so I don't see how this would be particularly helpful. Hostile country attrition. Actually, that's not so bad. Let's see. We might as well get it. We are currently we do have the chivalry focus for now. Like I said, we were in adventure, but we're going to switch over here probably to scholarship after that. Now that we're getting a little bit older here. An embarrassing odor. Uh-oh. I have secured an invitation to a feast in Tangiers and a seat close to Anastasia. Despite my determined attempts, I am failing to strike up a conversation. She is probably rendered speechless by the intensity of my affections. Suddenly, the loudest fart I have ever heard erupts from our table. A few of the guests are looking at Anastasia. This is a ridiculous one. It was me. I farted. Perhaps I should stay quiet. This is so silly. But oh wow, this is actually. You know what? We're arrogant. I don't think that we would. Admit to that in that situation. I can't picture somebody arrogant putting themselves in that kind of embarrassment for no reason. Oh, what has happened over here? Interesting. Okay, so the king the Maghreb has fallen here. So title history. Vali Shabazz the Strong. Interesting. Look at this. Inherited, destroyed. Created, destroyed. So he inherited it when he was fairly young. Then it got broken. Then he managed to rebuild it. And then it was destroyed once again. So that's actually a pretty interesting way for that kingdom to come about. Yeah, but the Maghreb has kind of descended into chaos once more, which could be useful. Like I said, we don't want to paint the map, but we do want to secure ourselves just enough to like be able to play that tall game. You can't really play a tall game with, unless you've got some really good provinces like Cagliari here with the mine, or Cortuba or something like that with good buildings. We're going to need to get at least a couple counties in order to play that tall game. You know, maybe I think the farthest extent I could picture us going would be to take Fez as well. And that would probably be the most we would go, but I don't think we'll do that very quickly at all. We'll see how these guys all play out against each other, but yeah, I'm very, very curious. If we do take something, it might be not too bad to take Garb here and just try to go along the coast, but I'm not really too worried about that right now. We do need to do something about our money, and I would like to look at and just make sure that we can create this title. We need to have 212. It's actually not that much, but we're not making money. I'm tempted to... Oh, an intruder. Every time I close my eyes, I see Anastasia's face. Sleep will not come. I cannot wait another moment cloaked in shadows. I make my way to the garden outside our living quarters. The sight of her chamber window makes my heart stutter, so close and yet so far. But wait, who is that climbing up the tower? The shady figure stops by Anastasia's window and unlatches the shutters. I must save her. Indeed, let us go ahead with our romance attempt here. The sound from the struggle above is the greatest motivator I've ever known. Without care for life or limb, I hoist myself through Anastasia's window. I feel as if I have been plunged into a frozen lake. Anastasia is on the floor, the intruder pushing her down, a gleaming blade between them. Somebody does not like this Russian woman here in the court. With a roar, I grab the villain by the collar and throw him into the wall. The rest is a blur. When the danger is over, I turn towards her. Anastasia, are you all right? I ask cautiously. As if my words were a spell, she unfreezes and throws herself into my arms. Thank God you are here, Ismail. I'll never let you get in harm's way again. She becomes our soulmate. Very, very good. So here we now have a soulmate. I think that we shall arrange ourselves a marriage with her after this point. We have Lane with her, so if she comes of child, we would like that child to not be a bastard. So we will marry her, and that is good news. We can even, I believe, make her our primary spouse. This will insult our current wife, but I think that we are just very enamored with Anastasia right now. So despite our wife here giving us some children, currently Anastasia is the apple of our eye, so to speak, and she is actually going to be quite useful, I believe. Will it switch here? Yeah, so if we get her to help us manage our domain, that's actually giving us a huge boost in our stewardship here. It's already up to 16 now, so that's actually quite advantageous to us because our stewardship was very, very bad before. I would like to get you to... Oh, no, wait. We need to increase county control in Tangiers because our family did only take it in the last generation, so... Here, our wife has given birth to a daughter, Halawa. That seems like a fine name. And we do get a martial lifestyle perk. So what's going to be the best one? Do we get a prowess up, serve the crown, or bellum justum? I think stalwart leader's probably going to be the most pertinent to us. Well, like I said, we're going to switch over to scholarship focus at the next opportunity. But we'll, like I said, we were an adventurer. We are a warrior scholar. So somebody who, understands and has a great care for learning, but, knows his way around a sword or a spear in this case, as we do have a family spear. And it is the Idrisid spear, I believe. Yeah, so this is a spear from the family that has been in there for quite some time. Yeah, it was actually made by a Palabian Catholic. many years ago. I can only imagine here. So, Malik Jawar. He wants us to send our newborn daughter here. She was just born. We have to decline that. Maybe in a few years, but my God, she is not even, she's barely been alive for but a day, and Al Andalus comes saying, give us your daughter as a hostage? I think not. We did see that our new wife Anastasia is pregnant, so I think it would probably be important for her to well, actually maybe we don't care. We are cynical, so maybe we don't care that she is Orthodox. Maybe we actually find that interesting. So, yeah. We got to make money here. Luckily, we have a relatively decent steward here who is trying to make us some money, but let us see. I'm willing to release Majida Zaydan. He wants to release our sister and he wants us to pay money. Well, she is our sister. We are somebody who cares for our family. We will pay the ransom. That's unfortunate, but we weren't going to just leave our sister as a prisoner after all. We could create an accolade. Well, I don't want Lub to I mean, he's actually one of our better warriors here. Let's see. To here. You know what? Let's make Lub our one of our warriors here. So we'll call this position, somebody can give me a better name, but we're gonna call it the warrior scribe. The warrior scribe of Tangiers. There we go. I think that's an all right name. Mentor, which is let's see, that's actually useful. Gives us a better learning number of knights, so that's not too bad. And scoundrel, which is martial level per stress level. A mercenary higher cost. Ooh, wow, cheaper mercenaries is great. Is great for a tall playthrough here. So and his successor is Amir. Of course it is. Ugh, Amir. Prisoners can be ransomed. Oh, let's do that. Let's get the money here for both of these. I know we could have got a little bit more for that other one, but, let's get the money now. That puts us at 205. Can we... You know what we could probably do? We've got a lot of just random things here, a lot of trinkets. Can we sell our brilliant gemstone here? We could, and we'll gain 40. Let's do that. We're going to sell our brilliant gemstone. We now have enough money to create the Duchy of Rif, and that is going to be perfect. So we're going to do that. There we go. We are now a mighty emir. That is excellent. And I wonder if we can offer vassalage to our brother. Oh, he won't accept, but he's very, very close. No exemption, religious exemption. Oh, because he's Ash'ari. We could probably get him to, we could probably convince him to do so if we can get his opinion of us up just a little bit more. I think we'll be able to bring him over onto our side. So actually, things are actually going pretty well. I mean, we didn't really face too difficult of a start, not right at the beginning, but I will point out that we do have Al Andalus, right to our north, and they would probably love nothing more than to gobble up all of this land over here. Oh my gosh, this place broke down too? Wow, this is really sad that we're going for a slightly more tall playthrough here, considering the entire coast of North Africa has just completely broken down and is ripe for the picking. Like I said, I would like to take a little bit, I'd like to conquer a little bit here. But I don't want to go too far, as tempting as it is. But we'll see how things play out anyways. I don't want to lock us into any one thing or another. But yeah, we're not going to be map painting. We'll take a little bit, and we might do it in an interesting way. Like maybe we'll take some of we'll take the islands here, Majorca or something like that. Who knows? Looks like the Roman Empire is having itself a little bit of fun, but we can check up on that at another time. But I think for now that will be the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really does give me a boost to see the channel growing. And I love to read all of your comments, and I'm really curious to see what you guys think of this story that we are developing here and where you think it's going to go, and any suggestions you have for it. But until the next episode, Wanderers, I have been Stray. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.